The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey there, good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to the Missouri Sports Network here on High School Game Day. Week 10 of the high school football season. You've got Final Four going on in softball, some sectional volleyball to get to today as well. Want to remind you, we are coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio. Pizza Ranch with 7 locations throughout the state of Missouri. We're going to be in St. Joe next week for Quarterback Club. We'll also be in Springfield on Monday from 11:30 to 1 o'clock for the Quarterback Club. And we've got plans to head to North Oak, Independence, Joplin, and Branson as well. We've been to Wentzville already this season. As we're looking now towards tip-off club meetings, are going to start just about 5 weeks from today, and it's hard to believe basketball season is right around the corner. My name's Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy, sitting in here. We'll be with you for the next half hour or so and running down some of the events. And don't forget to tune into Friday Night Live at 9:30 right here at the Missouri Sports Network, and our Huddle Up show, which airs typically on Thursday mornings. And got Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks scattered throughout today. Did three interviews today with some very well-deserving young men on the football side that put up some extraordinary numbers in week 10. Week 9. This is week 10. We'll update first the Final Four softball that is going on yesterday and today. We'll give you some updates here in Class 1. Class 1 earlier today at 1:30, Canton defeated Marion C. Early 3-2, so they advance to play tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. in the state championship game, and they will play Polo. And we've talked about them. We've had them on the show. Polo wins 6-5 today over Salisbury. So that game at 2:30 tomorrow, starting at 7:30 this evening, will be Marion C. Early and Salisbury playing in the third place game. In Class 2, fall softball, happening earlier today at 11 a.m., Marceline, who knocked Polo out last year in Class 1, went on to win the state title. They knock off Eugene today, 7-1, so they advance to the state championship game in Class 2 tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. On the bottom of that bracket, Sherwood, who we have also had on, they get a 1-0 shutout over Russellville. So Sherwood and Marceline tomorrow at 10 a.m. and going on right now, and may have been completed by now, Eugene and Russellville playing in the third place game of Class 2. In Class 3, fall softball, today at noon, Fatima shuts out Westminster Christian 13-0, and they will play Chillicothe, who in 11 innings defeats Bowling Green 1-0. That game will be tomorrow at 12:15 between Fatima and Chillicothe. And just getting underway in the third place game will be Westminster Christian and Bowling Green. In Class 4, fall softball, Final Four, the state champion has been crowned, and it is Kearney. As Kearney in the semifinal game defeats Warrenton 6-3, that game on Thursday. And then today at 10 a.m. this morning, them and Helias Catholic match up, and it's 14-9 the final, going in Kearney's favor. So your Class 4 state champions are from Kearney. And the third place game, that was played yesterday at 3 p.m., Washington defeated Warrenton 10-0. In Class 5 action, there also has been a state champion crowned, and that is the Blue Springs South. Blue Springs South wins the state championship over Francis Howell 10-2. In the third place game, played yesterday, Liberty defeats Marquette to capture third place as they win 3-1. In volleyball action, Yesterday in the sectionals in Class 1, Clarkton moves on 3-0 over Holcomb, advanced 3-0 over St. Vincent. Clarkton will play advanced tomorrow at 3 p.m. Santa Fe ends Osceola's season 3-love, and they will play Tarkio, who defeated St. Joe Christian 3-1 tomorrow at 1 p.m. Lesterville shuts out Sacred Heart 3-love, and they will match up with Winona. Winona defeated School of the Ozarks 3-love as well. That game tomorrow at 3 p.m. And Miller, defending Class 1 state champion, they shut out Galena 3-0, and they will play Drexel, who defeated Jasper 3-love. That game tomorrow at 3 p.m. In Class 2, in volleyball, Saxony Lutheran shuts out Portageville. They will play Jefferson Festus tomorrow at 1 p.m. in Class 2 quarterfinal action. Lone Jack defeats Lawson 3-1. They will play East Buchanan, who defeats Lafayette County 3-love at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Also tomorrow will be Herman taking on Stover. Herman defeats Whitfield 3-1, Stover over Eugene 3-1, and Stratford moves on as they shut out Liberty Mountain View, and they will face Fair Grove tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the other quarterfinal in Class 2. In Class 3 volleyball, on Thursday, St. Genevieve defeated Cape Notre Dame, and they will move on to play Ursuline Academy. Pleasant Hill will match up with Odessa tomorrow as well at 3 p.m. Blair Oaks shuts out Hallsville, and they'll play Lutheran St. Charles tomorrow at 1 p.m. And Seneca out of the Big 8 moves on as they defeat Mountain Grove 3-love. Sullivan falls to Eldon 3-2, and that'll be your quarterfinal matchup there at 3 p.m. tomorrow in Class 4 volleyball. Going on tomorrow in the quarterfinals will be St. Pius, the 10th out of Festus, taking on Westminster Christian. St. Michael the Archangel will play Platte County tomorrow at 1. Incarnate Word Academy will play Parkway Central at 1 o'clock tomorrow. These are all quarterfinal games. And Helias Catholic will take on Webb City at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And Class 5 quarterfinal matchups tomorrow. Jackson versus Lafayette Wildwood at 1 p.m. tomorrow. At 3 p.m. tomorrow will be St. Teresa's Academy and Liberty North. And at 1 p.m. tomorrow, St. Joseph's Academy and St. Dominic. And then Rockbridge will take on Kickapoo in the other quarterfinal matchup in Class 5. And now page 2. High school football, week 1 of the districts. Some games tonight may be rather lopsided, but you have some 4-5 matchups that could be interesting, even 3-6. We'll start off in Class 1. St. Vincent is the 1 seed. They received the bye. So the 5 seed Caruthersville will be at Charleston, the 4 seed. Chaffee will be at Scott City. Hayti has already forfeited to Portageville, so Portageville advances to play the winner of Chaffee and Scott City. Class 1 District 2, Duchesne gets the bye. Interesting there, Duchesne 5-4 in that district. Brentwood, the 2 seed, 9-1. Crystal City, the 3 seed, 8-1. But Duchesne played a ridiculous schedule. So they get the bye. Grandview will be at St. Pius. Brentwood wins via forfeit over Van Far. Louisiana will be at Crystal City. Duchesne had a brutal schedule this season, but if nothing else, it prepares them for this postseason run. Class 1 District 3, Miller will be at Marionville. Thayer at Pierce City. Diamond at Ash Grove, and Kabul at Sarcoxy. Class 1 District 4, Butler gets the bye as the 1 seed. Wellington Napoleon at Windsor. Crestridge at Adrian, and Midway at Sherwood. Class 1 District 5, Slater will be at Lincoln, who's the 1 seed. Tipton at South Callaway. Fayette at Russellville, and Harrisburg at Cole Camp. Crazy district here that the number 1 seed Lincoln lost to the number 5 seed Tipton back in week 2, and then Tipton lost to Cole Camp just by a touchdown. This could be a wild district here. Class 1 District 6, Paris is at Monroe City. Salisbury and Western met last night. Western wins 18-16, so they advance to play the Monroe City Paris winner. Scotland County will be at South Shelby, and Highland will be at Mark Twain. Monroe City has been terrific all year. They're one of the heavy favorites to make it into that Final Four. I don't see them faltering in this district. Class 1 District 7, Gallatin gets the bye. Marceline is at Brookfield. South Harrison at Putnam County. Maysville at Milan. Class 1 District 8, Plattsburgh is at East Buchanan. West Platte is at Penny. And Polo fell to Mid Buchanan last night 35-18. And tonight on Friday Night Live, we will have Mid Buchanan head coach Aaron Fritz. The other matchup there is Carrollton at North Platte. And it's going to come down to Buchanan County, I believe, in this district. And they've already met once this year with East Buchanan, kind of running away with a 48-12 victory. Those are your Class 1, district matchups. In Class 2, brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Central Bank of the Ozarks, strong roots, endless possibilities. Class 2, District 1, scheduled tonight. New Madrid Central's the 1 seed. They get a bye. John Burroughs is at Jefferson Festus. East Prairie is at Lift for Life, and Kelly is at Priority. I believe New Madrid wins this district. Lift for Life, maybe a dark horse, who played maybe the most difficult schedule in this district with the likes of Cardinal Ritter, Duchesne, and Vashon on their schedule. Class 2, District 2, Blair Oaks gets the bye. North Callaway is at Father Tolton. Cuba is at Herman. California at St. Francis Borgia. Blair Oaks is on a mission. I don't think they will be denied. They are the number 1 ranked team in Class 2 this year. I know they're going to have to deal with either Seneca or Lamar at some point, but they are awfully good with Dylan Hare at quarterback. Class 2, District 3, you got Liberty, Mountain View. They're the 1 seed. They get a bye. Tonight, Ava is at Stratford, and that's a rematch of a game earlier this season. And that's a big one tonight. Stratford then in the second round, if they get by Ava, they'll get a Liberty Mountain View team that they were within a touchdown of at half. So they're kind of my dark horse here. They turned the ball over 5 times in the second half of that Liberty Mountain View game, and Liberty Mountain View kind of ran off and hid. They just couldn't get anything done in the second half, couldn't hang on to the football. Class 2, District 4, Seneca is the 1 seed. They get a bye. East Newton will be at Hollister. Clever's at Mount Vernon, and Springfield Catholic at Forsyth. Earlier would have said Seneca walks away with this district, but Mount Vernon is playing awfully well, and those sophomores, and there's a bunch of them, are now all juniors at this time in the season. After Week 9 performances, I think they have a chance. They played a great game against a good Reed Spring team last week, and Seneca didn't look so good against Nevada a week ago. Class 2, District 5, Lamar is the 1 seed, and they get a bye. Skyline is at Stockton. El Dorado Springs is at Warsaw, and Versailles is at Fairgrove. Lamar is the class of this district. I don't think anyone else in here is challenging them. I don't know a lot about Warsaw. Fairgrove is down a little bit from a year ago, but Coach Bill Voris, you can't ever overlook him. Class 2, District 6, St. Michael gets the bye. Pembroke Hill is at Knobnoster. Holden also gets a bye. And Southeast is at Hogan Prep. This is a district could be up for grabs. Class 2 District 7. Bowling Green gets the bye. Montgomery County is at Clark County. Centralia gets a bye, and Palmyra is at Hallsville. Bowling Green has really rolled this season. Don't look for that to stop in districts. They're putting up 60, 70 points every game. Doak Propane brings you the Class 2 District 8 Week 10 schedule. Doak Propane for all your propane needs. See the folks at Doak. District 8, Lafayette County gets the bye. Lawson will be at Trenton. Lexington at Richmond, and Lathrop is at Macon. Top 5 teams in this district are combined 39-6. I still believe the championship will be a rematch of Richmond and Lafayette County, which Lafayette won 18-12 back on September 3rd, but still a very interesting district, and there are a lot of them that look that way. Great Southern Bank Class 3 district schedule and previews presented by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, the Bank of Billings, Liona Labor's Local 663 Pizza Ranch, and Central Bank of the Ozarks. Class 3 District 1 Valley Catholic gets the bye. Imagine that. Potosi is at Kennett. Fredericktown is at Park Hill Central, and Dexter is at St. Genevieve. And Park Hill Central is the only team all year that played Valley Catholic to within 10 points, including a Class 6 Seckman who lost 61-36 back on week 1. Class 3 District 2, Cardinal Ritter gets the bye. Roosevelt will be at Lutheran South. Bishop DeBerg at University City. Bayless is at Herculaneum. And maybe the heaviest favorite in any district in the state is Cardinal Ritter in this district. Class 3, District 3, Week 10 schedule. St. Charles West is the 1 seed. They get a bye. Wright City is at Normandy. Collaborative, 2 seed is a bye, and I didn't even put who that was, so my apologies. Orchard Farm, the 2 seeds, Lutheran, St. Charles. Orchard Farm is at Lutheran North. And only 15 points between the first and the last seed in this district is St. Charles West, 22-15 over Orchard Farm. Farm back on 9:30. Class 3 District 4, St. Clair gets the bye. St. James is at Principia. Salem is at Sullivan. Westminster is at Owensville. I think any team in this district could win it. Silo Ridge Golf and Country brings you Class 3 District 5 Week 10 schedule. Moberly gets a bye. Mexico gets a bye. Eldon will be at Boonville. Fulton Eldon will be at Southern Boone, and Fulton will be at Boonville. Bank of Billings established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County with locations in Billings and Marionville. Class 3 District 6, Reed Spring, the 1 seed, they get a bye. Aurora will be at Cassville. Osage gets a bye, and Clinton will be at Buffalo. And Reed Spring has a challenging, Big 8 schedule. Osage may have played a tougher one, though, starting out with Jeff City, Moberly, and Blair Oaks. But since then, they've won 6 in a row. So they're on a hot streak right now. Great Southern Bank. With more than 100 locations in 6 states, they care as much about your money as you do. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC. Class 6 District 7. Class 3 District 7. Pleasant Hill gets the bye. Oak Grove is at North Kansas City. Central Kansas City is at University Academy. Summit Christian is at Odessa. Pleasant Hill played both Odessa and Summit Christian and outscored them 112-21. And with the home field advantage throughout, they will have to be the favorite there. Class 3 District 8. Maryville gets the bye at 6-3. A tough schedule, though, played by Coach Matt Webb. and the Maryville Spoof Hounds. Cameron will be at St. Pius, Kansas City. Lafayette will be at Savannah, and Benton at Chillicothe. Looking forward to this district, Maryville defeated Savannah already and Chillicothe, but they lost by a touchdown to the 4-seed St. Pius, the 10th. So an interesting district there in Class 3, District 8. Moving on to Class 4. And before we do so, we're halfway through here, so we're going to play a commercial for Friday Night Live. We've got a new intro coming up, but we're going to play our Pizza Ranch commercial.
Only Pizza Ranch serves buffet your way.
Don't you mean my way, Mr. Voiceover Guy?
Sure, anyone's way, actually. Request your favorite pizza. We'll make it, bake it, and give you the first slice.
I can add peppers to pepperoni, Stampede on stuffed crust, maybe Texan taco on thin. No tomatoes on my half. How can I convince Mom to let us eat here every night?
It's buffet your way at Pizza Ranch. Say it with me, kid.
Hello, welcome back to presented by the Bank of the Ozarks, Bill Propane, Rivers Local 663, Shelter Rancher, Bank of Philly, the Great Southern Bank. Welcome here on week 8 on Rivalry Friday to the show. This is head coach Aaron Fritz. Coach, thanks so much for your time today.
Hey, no problem. No problem.
We've been talking rivalries all day. We've had to talk with teams, Maryville, life, probably a unique rivalry. My apologies there. I was playing an interview from back in week 8. I thought it was the Pizza Ranch commercial, but it was not. It was a show that we did a couple of weeks ago. So my apologies there for confusing you, maybe as much as it confused me. But I definitely do apologize for that. Anyway, getting back to Class 4 here. Class 4 districts, schedules, and as we look at Central Bank of the Ozarks Class 4 district previews, going into District 1, Hillsboro is the 1 seed, and they get a bye. Perryville will be at Farmington. DeSoto at North County, a game that North County won 42-0 back on September the 9th. Sykeston will be at Festus. In Class 4, District 2, St. Mary's is the 1 seed. They get a bye. Windsor is at Gateway. Pacific is at Rockwood Summit. Afton is at Union. With St. Mary's announcing it's going to close down at the end of this school year, plus the fact that they are the class of this district, I don't see anyone beating them perhaps the rest of the year. Maybe you've got a good Kearney team or Smithville, but I'm leaning towards St. Mary's being the state champions. Class 4, District 3, Parkway Central gets the bye. Clayton is at Jennings. Confluence Prep is at Vashon. Soldan is at Parkway. Vashon may be the hottest team coming into this postseason as the 2 seed. However, Parkway North played Parkway Central to a 2-point contest early this year. This is a 3-horse race. Who's healthy and at home may be the deciding factor in this district. Liuna, Labor's Local 663, feel the power. Liuna, Labor's Local 663, building Missouri and building Missouri State University. Join them tomorrow at the tailgate party in Bearfest Village. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. before the homecoming game between Missouri State and Western Illinois. Class 4, District 4 schedule. Hazelwood East gets a bye. McClure North is at McClure. St. Dominic gets a bye. St. Charles is at Fort Zumwalt East. This is an odd district to kind of predict. I mean, Hazelwood East is the one with a winning district or winning record. They only outscored an 8-seed McClure team 14-8. And I don't know about the injuries or circumstances surrounding that contest, but it may be the most wide open district in Class 4. Class 4, District 5. Hannibal gets a bye. North Point is at Warrenton. Jefferson City gets a bye, and Winfield is at Kirksville. Hannibal's the favorite here after defeating the 2 seed Jefferson City by more than 3 touchdowns earlier this year. Class 4 District 6, West Plains gets the bye. Monette is at Logan Rogersville. Hillcrest is at Bolivar. And speaking of that, I'm going to go over and take in a few minutes of the Hillcrest at Bolivar game. And I don't believe Hillcrest has ever beaten Bolivar. They used to match up back in the DGB days in districts 3 years in a row. Bolivar won every one of those contests, and I don't think since Bolivar has entered the Ozark Conference that Hillcrest has defeated them. There are 4 Big 8 teams in the middle of this district standings, and then the 3 Ozark Conference teams kind of bookend the standings, which makes it for an interesting study. I think the Ozark Conference teams fare well in this district. However, a possible round 2 matchup between longtime COC rivals Marshall and Bolivar would be a draw. Class 4 District 7, Center gets the bye. Carl Junction is at Grandview. Warrensburg is at Lincoln College Prep, and Harrisonville is at Nevada. It has to be Center in this district. However, you can't overlook a Nevada team. You know, West Beechler is, look at what they did last week to a very good Seneca team. And if they can control the clock and coming off that decisive win a week ago, if they are able to get to that state championship game, but they're going to be at home tonight and then likely on the road for the next 2 in that Class 4 District 8. And in Class 5, and before we go to that, we'll play an interview. Got to catch up today with a couple of our Chevy dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week, and we will play Quinn Renfro had a not only school record, but a state record day a week ago. 8 touchdowns, 330 or 316 yards rushing, but got in the end zone 8 times. Got to catch up with Quinn Renfro and head coach Curtis Jasper and hear from them now.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective, and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey there, sports fans. Welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented, as always, by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Dope Propane, Great Southern Bank, Liuna, Labor's Local 663, and the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. And to that end, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week segment here as we go down to Joplin High School and head Eagles coach Curtis Jasper. Coach Jasper, thanks for your time this morning.
Absolutely. Appreciate the coverage.
Coach, just a tremendous evening, a state record evening with the Neosho Wildcats. And tell us a little bit about Quinn Renfro and his evening.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he had a big night, over 300 yards rushing and 8 TDs. You know, obviously was our bell cow Friday night, and just kind of the way the game developed. And you know, Neosho's got a pretty prolific offense, and they were able to put up points, and we were able to rely on Quinn to answer the call every time we had an offensive possession.
Coach, and as you go in at halftime, it's still a relatively close game, and it was close throughout. What changes or remarks did you have at halftime there as you come out in the second half?
Well, obviously we made a couple mistakes in that first half. Otherwise, you know, we feel like there'd probably be a little bit more of a breathing room at that point in time. So we just wanted to clear up any mistakes, make sure we were good to go. And, you know, we knew we were successful running the ball in the first half, mixed in the pass, but we knew what they were giving us. We were going to take advantage of it. We were getting the ball first coming out of halftime. We wanted to make sure we executed on that drive, which we did. And then, you know, defensively, we, you know, pressed on the receivers more in the second half, which made a big difference. And you know, we just executed well in the second half.
And Quinn, first off, congratulations on behalf of the Missouri State Highway Patrol, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Athlete of the Week on a a record-breaking evening for certain. But did you have any idea when you looked at the game plan that you might get that many opportunities?
I mean, going into the game, I never try to predict my stats or never try to predict how many times I'm going to score. I just play my hardest. I just run the ball, do what I'm supposed to do my job, and I happened to get all those opportunities, and I took advantage of them.
And 36 carries, I believe, 314 yards and 8 touchdowns. Do you have like a favorite play now that, hey, what coach needs to call? Are you lobbying on the sideline? Hey, coach, we need to call this. I scored 8 touchdowns the other night.
So actually, we just put it in a play this last week, and it was where my lineman Dontrell, he's blocking for me on a motion, and I mean we went 4 for 4 on that in the red zone. So that definitely has to be my favorite play. I mean, there's not much I have to do when you have a big boy like Dontrell blocking in front of you.
Did you have any idea as the game was going on the yards that you were piling up?
To be honest, no, I had no idea. The only thing I was thinking is when I was going into halftime, it was 28-28, and I didn't want to leave the regular season with a loss. So I was more worried about just the winning the game and all that.
Did you have any idea how many touchdowns you had scored?
Yeah, I definitely. I at halftime I was at 4 touchdowns, I believe, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I mean, I'm pretty high up there. Like this could be a pretty crazy game, but yeah, once I was at I think it was 6 or 7, I realized that was Isaiah Davis's previous record, and so I needed one more to break his, and I was like, dang, this is crazy to be this close to that.
Did you make him aware of that?
No, I haven't texted him yet. He was playing North Dakota State that weekend, so I was wanting him to be focused for the game. But I'm definitely gonna have to let him know soon. I definitely have to let him know.
How did you recover from that? And I've asked running backs this a long time. You carry the ball 30 or 40 times, and you think, oh my goodness, and I get the same response. Hey, the ball isn't heavy. It's easy to carry. It's not heavy. I'm out there anyway. But what do you do to recover after that?
I mean, here at Joplin on Saturdays, we just have a great recovery program. I mean, we have good trainers, and we do yoga and we do specific workouts that just really help our body recover. So recovery usually isn't a problem here. I mean, it's as good as it can get. And I was back Monday running sprints, ready to go for right back this week.
As you go into your Week 10 district game, what are you guys going to have to do? What do you feel like your responsibility is if you're going to come out on top?
I mean, I feel like if everybody plays their part, everybody plays hard every single play. There's really no stopping us. I mean, we have a whole bunch of great athletes, and our coaching is amazing. So if we stick to the plan, stick to the script, I feel like that's the key to success right there.
You bet. Now, Quinn, you're just a junior?
Yep. Yes, sir.
You're a junior. Outstanding. Well, Quinn, once again, on behalf of the Missouri State Highway Patrol and Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, congratulations on being a Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week.
Thanks so much.
And Coach Jasper, going in here to Week 10, tell us a little bit about your preparation and what you feel like team-wise you're going to have to do to come out on top.
Yeah, obviously a Rapex, a very quality club. We played them 2 years ago in the district semifinals when they went on to win state. So we're familiar with them. Plus, we do some things in the summer up there, and so we understand, what they have with their dynamic receivers. They have a great group of running backs as well. Their quarterback does a great job. So we know we got our work cut out for us, but we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach, let's say I open up the paper or go to scoreboardguy.net after the game, and you guys have won the game. What is 1 or 2 stats that you're going to point at and say this is why we won? This is what we have to do, whether it's turnovers or penalties or anything.
No, definitely. We've had a great year as far as not very many penalties except for last week. So we got to get back to what, on what we've done execution wise, low number of penalties. We got to make sure we take care of the football. But really, I think, and maybe it's because I'm a line guy, I don't know, but the physicality up front, if we're more physical than they are on the offensive defensive lines, then I feel good. Saturday morning's paper is gonna look good to us.
Outstanding. Well, Coach Jasper, again, I appreciate you setting this up and making yourselves available here. I know it's a very busy time with the postseason going on, and but we greatly appreciate you being generous with your time.
Well, we appreciate the coverage.
And Curtis again, or I'm sorry, and Quinn, again, congratulations.
Thanks so much.
You bet. You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. And we are live in the Pizza Ranch studio with locations in Joplin and Springfield, and we'll see you soon. Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network. Guy Newcomb alongside here just for a few more minutes. We'll run through some of the other districts here. We've touched on classes 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we'll hit Class 5 district matchups. Central Bank of the Ozarks brings you this Class 5 district schedules and previews presented by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Bank of Billings, Liuna Labor's Local 663, Burgess and Associates for all your retirement needs. Great Southern Bank, Doe Propane, and coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio. In Class 5, District 1, Jackson gets the bye. Poplar Bluff will host Fox. They last met back on September 30th, and Poplar Bluff defeated Fox 28-7. Webster Groves will be at Oakville, and this was a game that Oakville won 55-10 back on September the 9th, and Melville will be at Cape Central. Jackson has to be the favorite here. They're looking for their 5th consecutive district championship, and over that time, they're 21-1 at home and 32-3 on the road, including a state championship back in 2020 and runner-up in 19, and they're averaging 42.5 points per game this season. Class 5, District 2, Eureka gets the bye. Parkway West is at Ladue, be the first time they've met this season. Chaminade is at MICDS, and back on September 3rd, MICDS won 42-19. Parkway South will be at Lafayette Wildwood, and they did not meet this year either. Eureka has averaged 36 points a game and scoring at least 31 points in every game but one, and that's a 20-13 loss to the 3 seed in this district, Lafayette. Lafayette Wildwood beat them 20-13. Kevin Emanuel had 147 yards rushing for Eureka, but Bryce Clark was the only Wildcat to get in the end zone. MICDS won this district last year and came in 2nd in the state, so this could be an interesting and wide open district. In Class 5, District 3, Francis Howell with the bye. Riverview Gardens is at Francis Howell North. Fort Zumwalt South is at Fort Zumwalt West. Francis Howell Central is at Fort Zumwalt North. And none of these teams that play in the first round have played each other this season. However, the number 1 seed, Francis Howell, has played 3 of the teams this season and outscored them 164-19. So I think it's safe to say that Francis Howell is a favorite here in this Class 5 District 3. In Class 5 District 4, Holt with the bye. Washington will be at Timberland. Liberty Wentzville is at Helias Catholic. Battle is at Capital City. And Capital City won the first meeting back on September the 2nd, 41-32. Looking forward to this with a possible Timberland and Holt who met back on October 21st, and it was 42-35 win for Holt. If chalk holds, Holt and Helias could be a great game as well. Class 5, District 5. Rolla will be at Glendale. They met on September the 9th. Glendale defeated Rolla 32-13. Branson is at Lebanon. Branson and Lebanon did not play this year, but 2 very similar offenses this season. So teams that get to Branson team that practices against the Flexbone every day will get to match up with Lebanon in Aaron Hafner's first year at Branson High School. Waynesville is at Central. Central is the 3 seed, posting a 7-2 regular season record. And this will be kind of Central's coming out party. They've not hosted a home playoff game since 1982, I believe. So that will be challenging there as they're moving up and playing a Class 5 school for the first time this season. Class 5 District 6, Carthage and Webb City both get the byes. Willard is at Neosho, and they met in week 1, and this was the highest scoring 11-man football game maybe in the history of Missouri, with Neosho winning 79-72. Parkview is at Republic. They did not play this season, but this was the exact matchup 1 year ago as Republic defeated Parkview 54-0. Webb City has won 22 consecutive district championships. John Roderick, in his 26 years head coach, is an unbelievable 315-34. Went on a magical run a year ago to win a state title, defeating along the way number 1 ranked team Jackson, number 2 ranked team Carthage, and the number 3 ranked team Holt on their way to their 16th, their state leading 16th state championship. Round 2 against a Republic Tiger team who is playing as well as any team right now could be interesting. But I have to feel like Webb City Street comes to an end, whether it's against Republic or Carthage. As Carthage is just, they've been dominant all year, save their 1 loss to Nixa. Class 5 District 7, Grain Valley gets the bye. Smith Cotton is at Belton. Truman is at Raytown. Ruskin is at Raytown South. And in Class 5 District 6, Fort Osage gets to the bye. Central St. Joe is at North Kansas City. Oak Park also receives a bye. William Crispin is at Platte County. Interesting district with the top 2 seeds played to a 5-point game back in week 9. Fort Osage winning 35-30. Those are your Class 5 districts, and we will play now just a little short Class 6 roundup with Coach Darren Archer and myself. Just a little Class 6 roundup here. You'll hear from Darren Archer and the scoreboard guy. Hey, folks, welcome back to High School Game Day. High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad you tuned in. As always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. 3 seconds that could save your life. Coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio. Pizza Ranch, 7 locations across Missouri, including here right in Southwest Missouri in Springfield. They've got one in Wentzville. Been up there. We've been to St. Joe. We'll be in St. Joe November 3rd as the quarterback club will travel to St. Joe. Have Pizza will travel. Brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Great Southern Bank, Liuna, Labor's Local 663, and the Bank of Billings. Well, it's time to talk a little Class 6 high school football here as we head into week 10 week 1 of districts. And in Class 6, just the 4 districts. And we welcome Darren Archer. And Darren, it's that time of the year. It's gotten colder. The leaves are beginning to fall. Folks will be out trick-or-treating, and it's district football.
Gotta love this time of year, and like you said, with the change in weather comes postseason football, and always an exciting time of year around the state.
Yeah, you look at the Class 6, and Class 6 for the longest time was kind of dominated by out of the St. Louis area. You had the DeSmets, the Viannis, the CBCs, and they've got opportunities to get back there as well in Class 6. But recently the power now is kind of maybe in the Kansas City area a little bit, and you can't rule out a Nixa, which is the furthest team to the south in Class 6, who until their loss to Republic was undefeated on the season and offensively have put up unbelievable numbers.
Well, both of your major cities in the state, Kansas City, St. Louis, are loaded with premium Class 6 powerhouses. But like you said, there's an emergence of some other teams from throughout the state. Don't overlook Troy Buchanan, who's not necessarily in St. Louis proper, but in that area. And then as you head southwest, like you mentioned, you got Kickapoo. Joplin's another team that could be a force in that Class 6 district and possibly stay off state playoff run. So should be make for an interesting tournament, especially right out of the gate in week 1.
You bet. We'll start off there at Class 6 District 1, where CBC is 8-1 on the season, and they are the 1 seed. And, of course, they'll host Vianney. And then Marquette is the 2 at 8-1. Seckman also comes in at 8-1. And they've got that outstanding running back, quarterback Cole Rubel, who's doing it all for them right now. They haven't played maybe the competition that a Marquette or a CBC has. But and they've got the Kirkwood Pioneers coming in at 5-3. Folks, they ask me, how come Kirkwood only plays 8 games during the regular season? Well, it's because they've got that Webster Groves game on Thanksgiving Day, and they always save that just in case they can play their varsities there if neither one of them are in the playoffs. But it'll start off with Vianney is at CBC. They played October the 7th, and CBC won 64-6. I look for more of the same here.
Yeah, I think it'll be same song, different verse. It'll be I don't want to say an easy one because none of them are easy at this point in time of the season because you're win or go home. But you're absolutely right.
And that winner will get the winner of the 4-5 matchup, which Lindbergh, who started the season 3-0 and have gone 3-3 since. Lindbergh 6-3, Kirkwood 5-3. They played on October the 7th. Kirkwood won 49-7. I don't see much different happening here either.
I agree, and Kirkwood has really come on as of late. Their season kind of changed when they played Eureka to a very close game, very good Class 5 school in Eureka, and they seemed to find something at that point in time in the season, and they've kind of been on a roll ever since. That's a scary 4 seed for that district for sure.
And then you've got Northwest Cedar Hill, 0-9, traveling to Marquette. They played on September the 23rd. Marquette won 41-0. And there's a reason Marquette's the 2 seed. They're pretty good. And Northwest Cedar Hill has struggled.
Yeah, Marquette's my underdog in this district. Obviously, CBC's at the top of the heap. CBC's been 1 or 2 in the state polls since day one, and but I like Marquette's chances to play that underdog role to be able to make life tough for CBC, so to speak, and able to move on to the quarterfinals.
And then you've got SLU at 3-6, travels to Seckman. Seckman 8-1. They are the 3 seed. They have, as I mentioned, they have not played the schedule that the teams in front of them have. But anytime that you've got a doctor that's your head coach, you've got a chance. And with what they've done down there, they've really built up a program there. They've got outstanding guy, Cole Rubel in the backfield, who's kind of a do-it-all guy. But I think they beat SLU. But then that second round between Kirkwood and CBC and Marquette and Seckman, if chalk holds, could be a fun week 11.
Oh, I think so. If like you said, if seeds hold true, Seckman, who's playing with a lot of confidence, kind of the program's been resurrected there. One of the better seasons they've had in a very long time, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. And that's a type of team you don't necessarily want to face this time of year, and with the chance to go to a district championship game.
Again, you're listening to and watching High School Game Day here as we're breaking down the Class 6 district matchups here going into week 10, live from the Pizza Ranch studio on the Missouri Sports Network. And as we go to our Class 6 District 2 standings, brought to you by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, the aforementioned Troy Buchanan is the 1 seed, and they will host an 0-9 Hazelwood West, and they did not play during the regular season. And then Rittenhour is the 4 seed at 5-4, and they host 5 seed DeSmet, and they did not play this year. And then the 2 seed is Rockbridge, and Rockbridge is kind of interesting. They're 7-2 on the season. They will host Hickman. They met on October the 14th, and Rockbridge won 49-0. And then Pattonville will host Hazelwood Central, and that was a very close game, 20-19. The 3 seed beat the 6 seed by a point. As you look, Troy Buchanan's got to be the favored in this game, in this district, but really looking forward to that 3-6 matchup.
Yes, I think the 3-6 matchup between Pattonville and Hazelwood Central will be a good one. Don't overlook that 4-5 seed. DeSmet is a powerhouse, perennial powerhouse in Class 6 in the state, and Rittner's has kind of flown underneath the radar, so to speak, a little bit. They've quietly gone about having a very good season, and that should make for a very, very interesting 4-5 matchup on the 28th. And then, as you mentioned, Rockbridge is really having a very good season, and fortunate for them, they get a familiar foe right out of the gate. There's a lot of unknowns in this district, but they probably know Hickman as well as anybody else in the state. And then, like you mentioned, Pattonville, Hazelwood Central, that's a toss-up and should make for probably, at least in Class 6, one of the more interesting matchups with that 3-6 seed.
Yeah, that could be the best Week 10 game going into it. DeSmet, I'm looking at maybe a dark horse here. I mean, they're the 5 seed, but 3 of their 5 losses have come outside of the state, and the other 2 are to CBC and St. Mary's.
Right.
But if they are to win, all 3 games probably will be on the road.
Yeah, and I think that's where that road dog mentality will come into play with them playing across the state line so many times. It'll be just old hat for them. It'll be a short trip for them, much shorter than what they're used to.
Well, you got Troy, is averaging 40 points a game, but they're giving up 23 points a contest, and that stat could be the difference in this district as you look at the important stats, and we'll talk more about defense as we go on here. But you're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com as we move on to Labor's local 663 Liuna in the Class 6 District 3 standings. Nixa hangs on to number 1, and that surprised me just a little bit. But they did get Ozark, and they got that 13 points. Even though they won 51-7, now they get to turn around and play Ozark again. But that's a matchup. It'll be back-to-back weeks. Ozark is 2-7. Can they catch lightning in a bottle? They're going from the green turf to the gray turf at Nixa. 51-7. That's a lot to overcome. Just in a 7-day span. So I think Nixa rolls again in this game against Ozark.
Yeah, backyard brawl part 2. I think it's pretty much the same outcome. There will be very few places to go watch this game, even with it being a first-round district matchup. But anytime these 2 teams meet, you can throw the records out the window because it's going to be exactly what it's called, a backyard brawl.
You bet. And then that 4-5 matchup, Joplin gets to host, and Joplin could be a dangerous team in this district. They're hosting Ray Peck, who's kind of fallen a little bit. They're giving up a lot of points. Ray Peck is 5-4. They obviously did not meet this season, but I'd kind of like to see another Joplin Nixa matchup. It would be at Nixa. It'd be a COC matchup, and that's if chalk holds. We might be able to see that, but I think Joplin gets Ray Peck at home.
Yep, they could, but Joplin can't afford to overlook Ray Peck, hoping for that Nixa matchup the next week, because Ray Peck is the type of team that if things start clicking and they gain a little confidence, they can be a very dangerous team in this tournament. They have fallen on some hard times, but have played an outstandingly tough schedule throughout the year. It seemed like every week they were facing a state-ranked opponent, either up in the Kansas City area or across the state line over in Kansas. So they are definitely battle-tested.
And then that 2-7 matchup, Lee Summit North at 8-1, they will host Lee Summit, who's 4-5. They did meet back on September the 16th, and Lee Summit North won 38-16. So a chance here, I think, for Lee Summit if it puts together, and it could be based on team's health. A lot of times we don't know at this time going into week 10. Everybody's got bumps and bruises, but are they healthy? Did they lose anyone in week 9 or week 8 that they did have going back on September 16th, or maybe Lee Summit's getting some folks back, that they didn't have back in September. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on there. And then Lee Summit West travels to Kickapoo.
Interesting game. Kickapoo has played very well as of late. A couple of surprising scores that you would think maybe they would have won by a little wider margin, playing a very competitive conference in the Ozark Conference. But Lee Summit West sees tough opponents every week, and that could be a very interesting matchup. I think if there's a potential for an upset in that first round, this could be it within this district. It's all going to depend on how quickly Kickapoo can get on the board and gain momentum from that, because I think as their offense go, they go.
Yeah, and one thing too about Kickapoo is defense travels. They gave up 86 points all season, the second fewest points allowed in the state this year, behind Liberty North, who gave up 80 points on the season. And that going into week 9, Kickapoo had a 1-point lead there. They'd only given up 79 points, and Liberty North had given up 80. Well, Liberty North gets the shutout, and Kickapoo gives up the touchdown gives up the touchdown to Bolivar last week. So I think this district will come down to the defense. And Nixa, that's the thing you worry about with the Nixa. They've got such a high-powered offense. They score so quickly. Their defense is on the field a lot. You go back to that Republic game that they lost in overtime. Republic had 77 plays to Nix's 39, so double the amount of plays. The play clock, or the time of possession, was almost 3-1 in favor of Republic, and I think that's how you handle a Nixa team, is keep them off the field. And granted, I don't think Kickapoo played the schedule Nixa did, but they did have Lebanon, and they did have Camdenton, and a good West Plains team on their schedule. And they actually had Camdenton got beat 24-21 there. But Nixa, I think Nixa is going to be the favorite, but at least Summit North, just with the schedule they play, I just can't rule them out of winning this district.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity up and down that district, and it's going to be. Don't sleep on Joplin. Joplin is kind of my underdog pick right here. They lost some close ones to some very good teams this year, and like you said, when they pin their ears back and play some defense, their offense is phenomenal. It's just going to be on if they can keep people out of the end zone more than they get to the end zone.
And we go into Class 6 District 4, brought to you by the Bank of Billings. Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. And this is where the number 1 team in the state lies, in Liberty North. They're 9-0, and this is probably among and there's only 4 districts, but this may be the deepest when you've got a Blue Springs as your 8 seed. So Liberty North, they'll host Blue Springs. And this was a game they met on September 30th, and Liberty North. This is 35-10. You're talking about 4 scores difference, but Liberty North they're going to have to take this game seriously, or they could have an early exit.
Yeah, they will. And Liberty North is a very well coached football club. I think they're playing with a little bit of chip on their shoulder this year with losing the way they did in a state championship game last year to CBC. And that's kind of the way their games have all gone this year. They haven't really just blown somebody out. It's been about ball control, about controlling tempo, so to speak. And they haven't had really a whole lot of glamorous scores against very good teams, but it's getting the job done. So yeah, tough game right out of the gate, but all of them are going to be tough in this district.
Then you've got the 4-5 matchup, and Blue Springs South will host Liberty, and they met week 9, and Blue Springs South wins 38-14. You got to like Blue Springs South in that game.
Yeah, you do. Turning around, you just never know. Turning around, playing that next week, how things are going to shake out. Are there some adjustments made? Are there some, things that coaches pick up on or kids pick up on that could change things here or there? And should be a good game. Another good 4-5 matchup in Class 6. And I'm with you. I like Blue Springs South, but you can't sleep on Liberty.
And then Park Hill will be at Rockhurst, and they have not met. I'm sorry, Park Hill South will be at Staley. I'm sorry, that's a 7-2 matchup, and they did meet. Staley won by 2 touchdowns, 34-21, back on October the 7th. This could be a good 2-7 matchup.
Yeah, I think so. Staley's has also kind of flown underneath the radar, so to speak, with Liberty North in that area, Lee Summit, the Lee Summit West team, different teams in that area. They've kind of quietly gone about their business and have had a very good year. So once again, I say they're playing for some recognition, playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to be a tough out come district and state playoff time.
And then you've got the 6-seeded Park Hill traveling to Rockhurst. They have not met this season, but Rockhurst, I think, is a dark horse here in this district just by the virtue of the schedule that they played. And I still believe, like I said at the outside of this district, was, this is, I think, top to bottom, the toughest district. Number one, all these coaches are very familiar with each other. They're all right there, almost in each other's backyard. And this is a Rockhurst team that played Liberty North to 3 points.
Yeah,
they're
good. And like you said, they are battle tested. They've traveled all over the state to play people. They've traveled across state lines to play very good competition, and a tradition-rich program. And I know that those kids know the history and tradition behind this, behind the Rockhurst football, program, and they're playing for some pride right now. But once again, they've kind of quietly flown underneath the radar, and probably looking to make a name for themselves. And what better way to do it? And possibly the toughest Class 6 district in the state.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to week 10 here as all Class 6 schools will play. There'll be 16 Class 6 games this weekend or this Friday, as all the games, I believe, were scheduled to be played on Friday in this Class 6. And then come Saturday, there'll just be 16 teams left. And I tell you what, you never know what you're going to get when you've got seniors out there that feel like this could be their last game. You don't know how they're going to react a lot of times. So I know coaches right now are putting in a lot of effort into just the mindset of the kids going into this, especially if you're a 1 or a 2 seed. You just don't you don't want to let those 7 and 8 seeds kind of sneak up on you, because they may be playing for something extra, being their last game. So that was your kind of your Class 6 roundup or preview, so to speak, coming into week 10. Brought to you by Burgess and Associates, LLC. 401k rollovers, estate planning, life insurance, long-term care, and trust. Burgess and Associates, LLC. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow right here from the Missouri Sports Network. And we will talk to you about Class 5. Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network here on High School Game Day. Certainly glad that you have tuned in. I know everyone's on their way out to contest right now. And just stay tuned right here at 9:30. We'll have the Friday Night Live. And so far, we've lined up guests from Kansas City. We've got Liberty North lined up if they win. Troy Buchanan out of St. Louis, Republic High School, Mid Buchanan, who's already won. Stratford and Seckman, if they come out on top tonight, we're reaching out to Marionville's head coach Peyton Grubbs, and maybe John Perry, Will Franklin from Vashon, and Nate Thomas from Kickapoo, and maybe Glenn Johnson from Bolivar. Those are the top seeds, and if they win, we're going to get them on here tonight at 9:30 on the Missouri Sports Network. Certainly glad you've tuned in, and as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.